African artist YC and AKA in war of words over xenophobic attacks. Now, you've probably heard by now, the last couple of days have recorded a tense relationship between Nigeria and South Africa over the xenophobic attacks happening in South Africa. One celebrity who has been vocal in the wake of the events is Nigerian rapper YC. Now, in a series of posts shared on Twitter yesterday, YC made it clear that he was currently displeased with South African men. In his words, and I quote, "I don't rate South African men at this point, and I'm not trying to create any form of animosity between us and them." And he said in bracket that they don't already feel against us. Now, it is really sad that in 2019, xenophobia is what we are facing and discussing as a problem. But that wasn't all. YC was clearly taking no prisoners as he proceeded to call out his fellow rapper and South African, AKA, over his now famous meltdown when the national football team of Nigeria, Super Eagles, defeated that of South Africa at the just concluded Nations Cup. Now, he tweeted, "There is this subtle dislike that a lot of them, if not all, feel towards Nigerians, and no matter how hard they try to hide it, it eventually jumps out, like when AKA had a full childish grown man tantrum when they lost to Nigeria in the Nations Cup." It didn't take time before AKA responded to YC's tweet, and both rappers began to go back and forth. "Are you talking about this guy?" says AKA, and AKA replied, YC sharing a photo of himself leaning against a Nigerian flag with Fela's face on it. He also went to dismiss YC's narrative when he tweeted, and I quote, "South Africa and Nigeria is the continent's biggest rivalry, a sibling rivalry because we are brothers and sisters. I also hate losing to Australia for F's sakes. Now let's pull together as Africans and stop dividing ourselves. This whole narrative is stupid," he added. YC then pulled up AKA's tweets from the Nations Cup game defeat and replied, "I'm talking about this guy."
All right, I'll just carry on before we talk about this, because there's still more about this before we come back and talk about this properly. All right, guys, as you can imagine, this exchange caused major uproar on Twitter, causing other celebrities to weigh in on the matter, but from different sides. Nigerian rapper MI tweeted in AKA's defense, writing, "My bro AKA loves Nigeria. Taken out of context, his tweets can be misinterpreted. However, he loves and respects Niger." Nigerian musician Burna on the other hand, was very vocal about disagreeing with AKA and MI. He started by explaining that he hadn't set foot in SA since 2017 and won't again until the government wakes up. He also added that he has had personal xenophobic experiences at the hands of South Africans in the past. Burna then proceeded to warn MI not to back AKA up as he respects MI too much. And if MI throws out that respect out of the window, MI will fly out with it. Yikes.
Okay. Okay. So
we don't know where to start, Abby.
Like, where do we start?
Everyone's like, okay, so crazy stuff. Twitter was wild. I mean, Twitter has been wild because obviously there's so many facets to xenophobia. And, but of course, we'll talk about the celebrities involved or directly involved right now. And of course, we know we talked about AKA and YC, who really started the drama yesterday. And of course, I thought it was really intelligent, some of the stuff that YC tweeted. But I also thought, you know, to have said, "I don't rate South African men" at the moment was quite a generalization because it's not all of them who are carrying out those attacks. But then he went on to explain what he meant. And I like that he had his receipts, like we call it in the world of in pop culture. Like he pulled out those tweets and he's like, "Uncle, no, you." Now people are now saying, is it AKA that sponsored the attacks? Why are people saying as if it's AKA's fault? But that's not his point. The point is that you're in such a position like of influence, and then you tweet like that, like publicly showing how much of a sore loser you are, publicly showing, he called it a childish tantrum, which I agree with. He was like, "Oh, we keep losing to Nigeria at everything." And of course, if you guys remember the Casper investing, where he said he wishes he was Nigerian, and then AKA called him out on that. So it seems as if, so if you had told me that, let me go on someone's Twitter, someone who carried out the attacks, let me go on their Twitter page, I feel like this is something similar to what you would see on that kind of person's page, because this is how things develop. And so I think that was what it was. And to be
honest, I think that all four of them had specific angles that they were coming from. MI was being a pacifier. In as much as you're saying you stand for Nigerians, you don't also want to start off a war because you are a celebrity and you are the voice of the people. So whatever you say, if MI came out today and said, "Guys, let's attack this," you know, it's going to start off something. So he was trying to say, let's not generalize, let's also know that, you know, not, as you said, not all South Africans are xenophobic. But at the same time, I also like Burna Boy's approach because, as I said, they're all coming from different angles. Burna Boy is saying, we're not standing for this. I'm not being diplomatic. I'm taking my stand. I am supporting Nigerians. This is where I stand. I've not been in South Africa since 2017 because of the way I was treated, and I don't expect my people to be treated that way. Somebody has to have that stand.
I don't like some of the things Burna Boy said, but I'll let Arike and OJ go before I
what
rant.
don't you like? Tell me.
Oh, great. Okay, so Burna Boy went on, talked about how, he said all those things we had read out, and then he wrapped up by adding that don't let the old me come out. Yeah, okay, fine. Your old gangster, no problem, because maybe he was referring to him and Mr. 2K's drama, whatever. And then he goes on, it's like, oh, AKA, whenever I see you, better have big security because I swear on
Gbagbo's grave.
I swear on Gbagbo's grave that you're gonna need it. And I'm like, no, that's violence. The very thing you're condemning is the very thing that you're doing. And I have a huge problem with that. I mean, we're talking about how people are attacking Nigerians, attacking people of other African countries, and then you're coming to say, better have big security. You had made your point, which was, look, I don't stand for this, AKA you're cancelled. That thing was even already bordering on disrespect. But
this is the angle MI was going to. Okay, it has happened. Yes, they messed up. But the whole idea is we are supposed to preach peace.
Yes.
Now look at Burna Boy's tweets. Look at where everything is going to. People are cancelling AKA, telling him that you cannot come to Nigeria. That's not the aim of this thing. And Burna Boy said it in his tweet. Yes, I'm not supposed to do this because I'm advocate for one Africa. But right now, I just have to do this. That is not the main thing.
Here's the thing. I completely agree with you guys. Yeah. But it's like a case of you have a younger sister or younger sibling that is being bullied, and you keep going with this peace approach, and they keep bullying the younger sibling. Somebody has to take that harsh stand and actually say,
better have security.
To be honest, I actually think so. Because it feels like nobody's defending us Nigerians out there. It feels like things keep happening and we just keep writing words, which is what celebrities are coming out to say, that you can't just go and be typing, say no to xenophobia. What exactly are you doing about it?
First of all, so I'll say something. That's why Burna Boy ended up saying, please, can someone take my phone away from me because I don't want the old me to come back.
Stop that. You've already done the old you now. So, what are we saying? Let's be honest. You've already shown the old you. You've shown that you're a violent person by saying you better have security. What else can that mean? It's not ambiguous. It means what it means. You've already shown the old you by showing us that, better have security because, my guy, anything can happen. Paraphrasing now. So, you did well by saying, I've not stepped foot in SA since, and I'm not going to until the government sorts things out. That's great. Leave it there. Which one is better have security?
Okay, but then there were other things he tweeted. How about the one he responded when Davido said something about, South Africa and Nigeria and whatever it is, and he said something about, you know what, all Nigerians, come back home. We can't keep running. There's no way. That's my own stand on this. I don't care about who is fighting who's tweet, because at the end of the day, I'm not saying I'm in support of violence, but then there's a level to this. There's a limit. Everyone has their limit. As she said, if you have a younger one that's been constantly bullied, it will get to a point where you'll be like, oh yeah, bring your person. Let me bring my person. I'm not saying that should be the end result. That's not the goal. That shouldn't be the goal. And I'm glad that he said, can someone take my phone away from me, and whatever it is that he said. I don't care about all of that, but my problem is, Nigerians, can we come home and make our nation better? See, there's no way you run to. There's no place like home. That's my own opinion. Because at the end of the day, if you're to typically look at it, I get that there's some people in South Africa that are Nigerians that are doing really well, and their jobs there are amazing. But on a scale of 100, I would say like 80% of them are just doing menial jobs, like cleaning and stuff like that. It's not like they have a proper thing that they're doing over there. So why don't we come back and stop running? Because you talk to the next person, and the next person is saying, oh, I don't want to be in Nigeria. I want to this, I want to that. We can't keep running, because if tomorrow, this is just South Africa, and it is Africa that we say, oh, we are one. If Canada decides to throw you guys into the same situation, and it happens in the US, God forbid, I'm just saying, like, if it happens all over the world, we all have no choice but to come back home and make things right. That's my own opinion on this whole thing. Yes, no matter what you do, you're always just going to remain that option, like you're just a second-class citizen, wherever it is. So let's come home, let's stop running. That's my own take on this whole thing. And I agree totally with that particular Burna Boy's tweet. I'm like, yes, I totally agree.
The one about security?
No, the one where you should come home.
To be honest,
after all is said and done, I think peace should just reign. And
at the end of the day, the take-home should be no to xenophobia. And at the same time, as Nigerians, we shouldn't say because we're trying to retaliate, we're also affecting our own. We're going to do very, harmful protests, very violent protests that, are really affecting us as Nigerians. So just in general, say no to xenophobia.
I just want to quote Drake here.
Yeah.
After all is said and done, more is always said than done.
Wow.
Thanks.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to our next story. Zaki Aze accuses Sarkodie and Mr. Easy of copyright infringement. Yes, veteran Nigerian musician Zaki Aze has called out Sarkodie and Mr. Easy over copyright infringement for sampling the lyrics of his song Mariam in their new song Do You. The musician took to his Instagram page to call out Sarkodie and Mr. Easy, threatening to sanction them for copyright infringement, saying, and I quote, "Hello at Sarkodie and at Mr. Easy. This is to let you know that my song Mariam has been lifted in your newly released single, Na You. I released the monster hits way back in 1996, and I want to believe that you guys should know the consequences of copyright infringement," end quote. He continued adding, "This is a massive violation of my musical copyright dues and the illegal exploitation of my intellectual property, as I haven't been contacted for permission or approval for the lyrics of my song to be used. It's high time African artists wake up to know that copyright infringement and violation is stealing and theft, and hence a big crime. My next line of action will be made private for now. Thank you." As of the time of filing this report, neither Sarkodie nor Mr. Easy has said anything as regards this sanction. So it's Zaki Aze versus Sarkodie and Mr. Easy.
Can I be an Instagram person right now?
Can you what?
Can I be an Instagram person right now?
Say.
Zaki, okay, I get your point, okay? But we have more pressing issue. Can we come back to it?
That's very Instagrammy. But to be honest, though, he said my next line of action will be made private. I think this entire thing should be private.
Exactly.
We always say this.
So the next line of action will be probably Sarkodie reaching out to him or Mr. Easy, and they'll take it low-key and nothing out there.
Okay, so here's the thing. So
they started private first.
Yes. So there are different reasons, though. Let me now balance it. There are different reasons why he could have done this. Maybe he had tried to reach out to them and no response, and so he went that way. Maybe he wanted to do this to serve as a lesson to others. However, back to what we always say. The first thing to do, if really the aim of this is to get what is due you legally, then go legal with it. This is just, especially, you started by saying veteran. I don't believe veterans should be doing this. It's just like a messy, you're getting yourself caught up in drama.
I've listened to this song. I think who should even sue should be Neo, because I listened to the song. Mr. Easy sang, "I wonder, do you ever think of me anymore?" Which is a Neo song.
Neo
so he added Neo's song and put Nami Go Mariam. He didn't put Nami Go Mariam. I supposed to Mariam. Zaki Aze's own is Nami Go Mariam. Okay. So the person that should actually talk about Neo, because he sampled Neo's.
So here's the thing. I mean, there's a popular saying that says there's nothing new under the sun, right? So music has been recycled from time immemorial, and it's one thing that we have been fighting. But, you know, when you're talking about the foreign artist, it might be harder for a Neo to know that Mr. Easy is copying his lines or whatever it is. They have their rules that are standing very well in America, and I don't actually think that it's wrong for him to place a sanction. Now, as you said, bringing it out to the public, which is like you're accusing someone publicly, and you know how we are still very making laws and passing judgments out on Instagram people is not the best approach at the point this moment in time. So that's where I'll disagree with him. As you said, you should have started privately. There are legal ways to do this thing, and part of the legal ways is not coming out on Instagram and tagging people. So that's just what I see.
My opinion as well. So, well, we'll just keep our fingers crossed. Private, Abby, we'll find out later. Okay. Finally, in the foreign scene, Justin Bieber opens up about childhood fame corrupting him. Now, Canadian singer Justin Bieber has spoken up about his struggles with depression while growing up as a child. Now, according to him, the situation led him to make poor choices in his life. The 25-year-old singer, who is married to model Hailey Baldwin, took to his Instagram page to share the lengthy post where he admitted that he started doing pretty heavy drugs at 19 and credited his relationship with his wife as a factor that has helped him establish more healthy habits. Justin Bieber, who was discovered at the age of 13, stated, and I quote, "I became resentful, disrespectful to women, and angry. I became distant to everyone who loved me. I felt like I could never turn it around." Now, he also talked about how the constant praise he received in his teens distorted his perspective on life, saying, and I quote, "I went from a 13-year-old boy from a small town to being praised left and right by world, with millions saying how much they loved me and how great I was. You hear these things enough as a young boy and you actually start believing it. Everyone did everything for me, so I never even learned the fundamentals of responsibility. This post was probably a follow-up to a video the singer posted on his Instagram page last week where he shared and where he gave an emotional worship performance at his Los Angeles church. I totally agree, and this was where I was coming from when we were talking about the whole Miley Cyrus and her husband situation, because the two of them were in a situation where they were out there and they met so early, they didn't even figure out themselves. They didn't even know what they wanted. Everyone was in their faces like, oh, Miley Cyrus, and they just jumped into everything. And now it's like, let's take a break, let's slow down, let's discover ourselves. And I'm happy for Justin Bieber because I feel like this is a step to healing. Because if you're bold enough to come say this, then you've realized a lot, and that is growth. And growth for me is healing. And
that makes a lot of sense. I was actually going to say something similar. That it's nice to see people grow. It's a reminder that we're human, and so to be able to say, look, I was exposed early, because we've talked about this before. I think the last time where we heard about depression and all that, and I was saying that it's possible that because these guys get exposed early. So I think for everyone out there, so you probably see this in Nigeria first. So people here in Nigeria who have child stars or who are trying to raise child stars, I think it's important to expose them to therapy early or a counselor early. So because I mean, the industry will expose you to so many things. Fine, it might be worse abroad, but even here, like the industry will expose you to so many things, and it's important to have a sounding board, to have advice, to have a form of what's it called, outlet that keeps you sane.
I mean, that's a very good perspective from the point of view of the musician, the singer, and I think from the point of view of the fans as well, we have to also understand that these are human beings with feelings, with problems. You know, I remember watching an interview with Justin Bieber, and he was talking about people's energies, that he's just on his own, and there's like 5 people are coming to meet him with all their problems and all their challenges, because he's now a god that can solve all things. Now, you don't understand that in as much as you feel like this person can help me, what you're doing is you're giving off, you're making the person loaded, and you're actually you're contributing to the person's depression. So if we also know how to relate to people, like human beings, not like gods, then this will also help with that depression thing you're saying.
Makes a lot of sense. And I love the video of him singing in church. Oh my, you know,
I saw it.
OJ, you know me now. That thing moved me.
In his life,
you know that thing moved me. That thing moved me. I was so excited. I did them.
And this is Justin Bieber that's not performed for a long while. And of course, the first place he will now be performing is singing worship song in church. Amazing. And he has a really great connection with his pastor, Carlin, so I think that's really cool. All right, guys, that's it in the news. So much has been said, and I really pray that much more is done. All right, guys, moving swiftly along, celebrity birthday shout-outs. Yes, it's time for this. So let's talk about those celebrating today. Can you guys guess? Me?
Celebrating today are the following people: multiple award-winning American superstar singer, songwriter, actor, and high-energy performer, Beyonce Knowles-Carter! And she turns 38 today. The almighty Beyonce. When they see her performing live. Amazing stuff. Mama at 3.
And you were talking about page. You said she's pregnant.
I did not. Rumor has it. The rumor mill is spinning. People are saying that, look, the number 4 means a lot to her because her birthday is September 4th. Jay-Z's is December 4th. She has
album.
The wedding was 4th of I think April or something, and so they're saying that maybe they're trying to have a 4th child. But we don't know. We'll keep an eye on the story. Angle, right?
Watch us.
All right, guys. Also celebrating today is American stand-up comedian, actor, writer, producer, and member of the popular Wayans family of entertainers. Yes, guys, Damon Wayans, a fan. He turns 58 today, and he's popular, of course, very popular for many things, but also for playing the role of dad on the sitcom My Wife and Kids. Yes, he was so funny on that show, and I rate him. I rate the Wayans guys.
White chicks.
They did, but it wasn't him. It was Marlon and his other. Exactly. And
all of them, they're just cashing out. They're great.
Happy birthday to him.
And happy birthday to everyone celebrating today, okay? Please let us know where the turn-up is at. In OJ's voice, all right?